Okay, yeah, this here is my Christmas tree, and this is just for just for the season setting. Look how pretty that is, people. Very, very pretty tree. But yeah, now we're gonna go to my audience here. Sorry about that. Beautiful tree, by the way. Here's my audience. Very, very good-looking people. All right, and here we go. Focus it on me on 3. Okay, what I really wanted to talk about was the standings came in for the Pro Bowl selections for the NFL, and I really wanted to state my case as to why the Pittsburgh Steelers should have gotten more candidates into the Pro Bowl. And this isn't me. I'm not arguing for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense because it was a terrible, terrible offensive team. I was just kind of arguing for the fact that their defense. If you look at statistically, it's the greatest defense to ever play in the NFL. There has never been a team in the history of the NFL. The NFL has been around for over about I think it's about 100 years. You'll see it in my turned-in outline when I turn it in. But it's been around for longer than I can remember since my father's been around, and never before in the history of the NFL has a team been #1 ranked in every single category on the defensive side. I mean, there's not, we're not good in a couple categories, and then in another one, not so good. In every single aspect of the defensive game, we're #1. And take us back to 4 years ago. We didn't have a #1 offense. We didn't have a #1 defense, and we didn't have any other players that aren't still now on the team. We had 8 people in the Pro Bowl. Don't ask me why. It wasn't a better team with better statistics. It was the same people. As we have now, and actually, most of the players have better statistics. So, you really got to question as to why the Steelers are getting a bad rap here as far as the team goes. And what it really comes down to is the game being, as far as I think, I don't know what everyone else out there thinks. That's why I'm going to try to persuade you to look like or think like I am. It just comes down to really the name that you have, because there's obviously players out there that are at the end of their road. I remember specifically a couple, 5-6 years ago that they got players like Jerry Rice, Hall of Fame player, one of the the greatest receiver of all time. He was making the Pro Bowl around the end of his career. He was putting up numbers comparable to rookie players. And the Pro Bowl selection is supposed to be about the players with the best stats in the NFL. And that's what it says. It's supposed to play in that Pro Bowl game. And are they doing it? It's obvious that they aren't, because like I just said a second ago, every aspect of every part of the defensive side of the ball, we're #1 in. Never since the 93 Eagles has anyone. I think they were #1 in all the categories except for 1 or 2, and they had 7 defensive players in the Pro Bowl that year. So what's different nowadays? It must just really be that the defensive players that we have doing what they're doing aren't high-paid players with big names. It really comes down to the only reason we're doing that well is obviously our defensive coordinator Dick LeBeau's real good, but like getting back to my point is it really raises the question as to what's keeping them out of the Pro Bowl. What makes these other guys qualified to go into it when their stats aren't the same. And if you look it up on any of the NFL sites when voting for Pro Bowl selections, they ask you to only select players that are, only select players that are number one in their categories. And I don't understand how something like this happens. We have our one linebacker, Lamar Woodley, is number 7 in the league in sacks. He's number 2 in the league among linebackers in interceptions. He's he's 3rd or 4th on the Steelers team, which is the greatest defense in the history of the NFL, in tackles. I mean, it's just an immaculate resume. And if you look at it, he's a second-year player, and he doesn't have a big name yet. He's not getting paid the big bucks, and they're keeping him out of the game. Which is obviously not what they, when you go to vote, that's not what they want. They don't say to, who's your favorite player, or who's your hero, or who have you watched and liked over the past 10 season. They just say, who has the best stats. And it's obvious that, for some reason, the Steelers really got pushed to the side this year. Like I said, they only got 3 players voted onto the team, one of which isn't even a starter. And so he'll just play if something happens or if someone can't show up. So yeah, we only got 2 players in the Pro Bowl, and we have the greatest defense in the history of the NFL. And they can only select 2 of our players into the Pro Bowl. That's how I feel about it. I don't know your personal opinions about football, but whether you like them or not, numbers are numbers, and it doesn't lie. So that's pretty much what I had to say. Thank you.